What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY in the overall market. I'm also going to talk about Elon Musk and give you guys a quick update on what he's been saying. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Webull link. If you deposit any amount of money, you're guaranteed a 12 of free stocks. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 in total. And deposit $2,000 or more, you're guaranteed 40. The offer ends very soon, in just one day. Anyways, as far as Tesla goes, we saw this little pop upon in the morning. It's about this 260 area. Then we saw Tesla dip all the way down to 255. So we saw it drop about 5 points, only to get bought back up at the market by 7 points. So Tesla got a nice uh, push right over here, trying to fill this imbalance above. This now signifies something new for the share price. So we like to get bought back up around this 255 area. There are a lot of buyers defending this. So this is going to be our kind of like buy zone, at least for now. I'm going to mark this a little bit differently than before. There are a lot of buyers who are trying to defend the 255 area, and this is going to be acting as our support, at least for the time being. And then what else is interesting is despite the fact that that's happening, that does not necessarily mean Tesla's super bullish. There are buyers defending 255, but we still have this tough resistance near the low to mid 260s. So around 262.5 and 265, we have two tough resistances. Tesla is still kind of struggling to really break through them very easily. It's very slow once it gets to these levels. So I think that this is going to likely continue to be the case, at least as time goes on. Tesla could attempt to push a little bit higher, but I think we're going to see a lot of shuffling in the 260 area just for the time being. Now, whether or not we get a bigger push will be dependent on some other factors, such as our data that's coming out, not to mention some earnings. So I want to talk more about that first before I break down more details. So, as a reminder for today, we have Microsoft and Meta announcing their earnings alongside Coinbase. I'll talk more about these maybe later on in my next video. But there was some news coming out about Tesla. Tesla's launching the new Powerwall 3 expansion units. They're basically going to be slashing installation times by quite some margin. This is going to be very useful for the company. So, this is making things a lot more efficient. This is Tesla's new plan to upgrade the Powerwall 3. And there's a big difference between Powerwall 3 and the previous version in its power capacity. The energy capacity remains at about 13.5, kilowatt hours, but the power capacity is now rated at 11.5 kilowatt hours. And Musk claims that its peak is around 30 kilowatts in total. So that's actually very interesting. It's a lot more effective and it's much quicker for them to install. Tesla's also taking advantage of the high power capacities that come with the new products. So pretty cool stuff in my opinion. This is making a lot of headlines on their Twitter page so far. So pretty cool stuff. Now, as far as Elon Musk goes, I just want to say that he did retweet this, and this is like the only thing I've seen from him in the last 24 to 48 hours about Tesla, about how autonomous vehicles and reusable rockets are the future. I do agree with that. I just want to say that Elon Musk has not been talking too much about Tesla. He's very, very focused on politics. I think as we're getting very close to the election, especially as Musk is very, very political and he's very involved in this election. So that's the reason why I'm not really seeing a whole lot from him. I think that once the election is done with, we might hear more Tesla tweets from him. He did say this though just yesterday. Musk is saying that there's going to be more humanoid robots than people in less than 20 years. So that he's saying it's going to be, a certainty in his personal opinion that we will eventually see more robots than humans. So he's very, very optimistic about this, and he's talking a lot about how this is going to progress. This, in essence, is very bullish for Tesla if this does end up being the case, because you have to consider that, if anything, we don't have to take everything literally. Regardless if there are going to be new and more humanoid robots than people in less than 20 years, the main point is there's going to be a big market for humanoid robots for assisting people and for their services. I think that's going to be a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and I also believe that as long as Tesla gets its piece of the pie, whether it's a 10% market share or even 20%, Tesla's ahead of the game in this development. But I just want to say that it's going to be very bullish for them moving forward as well, as they're going to be able to sell these for tens of thousands of dollars USD. And also, they're going to be able to do a lot of other things. So just wanted to call that out. Very bullish news for Tesla's long term. Musk still has a very, very keen vision on that. So once again, he's very consistent on that, at least moving forward. So from what I see about Tesla, I think we're just going to see a lot of sideways price action, namely between 260 and 265. We're just kind of stuck right now. There's not much going on for the time being. We're just waiting for a lot of data. The reason I say that is because the volume has been slowing down. If you guys look at Tesla's volume, it's now decreasing. Even today, we had less volume than yesterday, and that was one of our weakest volume days in a week. So volume is slowing down. That's why Tesla is now starting to stagnate. And I think it's going to maintain this like sideways price action for now. Could we break out in the future? Yes, but we're just going to be seeing some sideways price action until volume comes back up. Now, if you look at SPY, look at this, guys. We're just very, very range bound. Why do I say that? Because we like to pump it's about 583 to 585. We like to reject there. And between 578 to 580, we tend to get bought back up. That's why we're just trading sideways in this range, just like that. So SPY is just trading sideways around 582. We could see a bit of a decrease in its value to about 581.9 and eventually retest the trend line down here around the lower 581s. But I think we're just going to be range bound for now. As far as ES goes, ES is also range bound. We attempted to get back up to about 5,900, which is where we tend to get our rejections, and we failed to hold above 5,850. So we pushed a bit only to dip back down. We're just range bound for the time being, so give this more time to develop. As far as Nvda goes, we are kind of rejecting off these resistance levels. I think we're just range bound between 138 and 140, and we're not really doing a whole lot. So we'll have to give this more time to develop. Be very, very patient with these changes, and we'll have to see how things end up going. But there could be a retest of 138 coming. Nvidia is a little bit lackluster because of AMD's earnings. Bitcoin's dipping just a bit. We're looking at this support now in this 71,000 area. We could dip close to 71,250, and we'll see what kind of reaction we get from there. As far as NQ goes, I just wanted to call out that this is also a little bit more bearish. We started off with a bit of a pump. Now we're starting to slow down after our GDP numbers came out. So the catalyst was GDP. That's what caused us to start dipping a little bit more. It's also because we saw a nice pump on Google, but despite the fact that it pumped, it has been kind of slowing down just a little bit after it hit tough resistance. So that's what's also slowing down the markets. We started off on a high end. Now we're slowing down. So we could be approaching 20,578 as our target on NQ. The QQQ pumped all the way up to about 503 or 502, excuse me. Now it's dipping back down. So I think we're just range bound between 498 and 500. We're going to be expecting some sideways price action. Apple's dipping a little bit as well. We're looking for an attempt to get back down to 230, and we could just be range bound between 230 and 235. I'm not really expecting much as well with this. For the IWM, we pumped all the way up to 224, only to start dipping. So we're looking at previous support becoming resistance at 222.8. If that fails us, I'm going to be looking for a target all the way down to 222 flat, followed by 221. So there could be a dip coming on the IWM. As far as Amazon goes, we pumped very nicely to 195, but I give you guys a warning that Amazon had tough resistance up there historically. So now it's dipping exactly as predicted. I also called out 192.75. This is exactly where we went to. So now we're looking for a sideways price action between 192 and 195, but there is a risk of us coming to the lower 192s as time goes on. Meta pumped, now it's dipping a bit. We have earnings coming out, so we'll see if that leads to a pump or dump. Watch 594 is support and 600 is resistance. We're just stuck in this range for now. And we're going to likely be stuck between those levels for the time being. But there is a risk of us dipping closer to 590 as time goes on. So give it some time. Microsoft is also making lower highs here, rejecting. We're looking between 437 and 434. So we'll see which way we end up going from here. Google pumped very, very nicely. It's about 184, but now it's been slowing a bit. So we're going to be looking at 180.5 as our support. And then we have resistance around 184. We're stuck going back and forth for the time being, but if we lose this, we're looking for a dip back down towards 178. So I think we're just going to see a lot of sideways price action in the markets once again. SPY is still outperforming, the Nasdaq and the QQQ, so is the S&P 500. But just know that with tech kind of slowing down a little bit, there's going to be a big reaction once we get earnings from Meta and the others. So just keep that in mind, guys. As far as Tesla's going, we are remaining range bound. So give this some more time to develop, and we'll see how things end up going. Anyways, I just wanted to say that with this shift in Tesla stock, we're seeing a new range that's developing for the time being, but things could change depending on some news. Unfortunately, Musk isn't saying much because he's very political, so we'll see how things go with that as well. Thank you for listening, guys. I'll see you guys again in a couple of hours, and peace out.